priced up to 50% less than retail. Take the first step towards saving hundreds or even thousands of dollars on nearly anything for your home. Call for your free Direct Buy Insider's Guide to Buying Direct and learn what retailers don't want you to know. Each full-color page of the Insider's Guide is packed with powerful information. Discover some of the hundreds of thousands of products available from over 700 name brand manufacturers. Everything, including furniture, cabinets, appliances, flooring, lighting fixtures, and so much more. All without retail markups. At Direct Buy, you can't afford to miss this valuable opportunity. Call the number on your screen now to get your own Direct Buy Insider's Guide. You'll also receive a visitor's pass and map to the Direct Buy showroom nearest you. The sooner you call, the sooner you'll be buying direct. So call now.
All right, welcome back to the opening bell. Connell, McShane in for Alexis this morning as we're less than 10 minutes to go before we start the trading day here in the U.S. In the meantime, in London, let's go back to Dominic Di-Natale with a full roundup of the year and the European stocks. Hey, Dominic.
Hey, how you doing? You know what? 2007 is but a memory now. It's all over for the traders. They've gone home, and in less than 10 hours, Big Ben's going to go ding-dong and ring in the new year. A new year which we're hoping is going to be an optimistic one. At least that's what Citigroup is trying to tell us. It's saying we could see double-digit growth in European stocks next year. Well, European stocks, the FTSE here in London, that's our main benchmark, rose just under 4%. Out in Germany, we saw stocks rise by a fifth, and they could rise by a similar amount next year as emerging markets suck up all the luxury goods a country like Germany has to offer. On the currency side of things, well, the dollar didn't fare very well against the euro. It fell 11%. People over here worried that the Fed is going to cut interest rates twice next year, and that means the prospects of making investments in America may not be as bright as it has been in the past, and so they don't want to buy as many dollars because they're not going to put that much money in the country. Could see the same again happen in 2008. Europe's looking robust, and a lot of people think that Europe is going to be the place to put the money besides China, India, and the other emerging markets. Back to you, Connell.
Yeah, we'll see. Dominic, thanks very much. Dominic Di-Natale over in London for us. In the meantime, we're getting set to opening the trading day here in the U.S. and with the preview of the action down at the big board for us today, Sandra Smith is standing by. Good morning, Sandra.
Well, hey there, Connell. Good morning. The big question here on the floor is, will we be sent into the new year on a good note? Will we see a rally today? And the big data that everybody is depending on to carry us through the day is that existing home sales report that will be out at 10 a.m. Eastern time, just a little over a half hour from now. We are looking for that to be a slightly positive report. Therefore, that could be the catalyst for a rally heading into the last day of the year. The Dow is up 7% for the year, so we would be extending those gains. Now, a couple of companies making news today. The financials, surprise, surprise, they may be the one to hold back a rally possibly today. Citigroup, this is the largest bank in the U.S., says that its dividend may be cut more than 50% as indicated by options trading, and that's according to a Barron's article over the weekend, and that is sending shares of Citigroup lower in pre-market trading. Merrill Lynch also making headlines. The world's biggest brokerage is in talks with Chinese and Middle Eastern sovereign funds to raise money to boost its balance sheet, and that's according to the Observer over the weekend. So, of course, we've got both these financial companies holding us back a little bit, but, Connell, we're going to be looking to that existing home sales report out a little more than 30 minutes from now to carry us through the trading day and perhaps end this year on a happy note. Back over to you.
All right, Sandra. Good stuff. Sandra Smith. And it's a full day, Sandra, so don't leave early. It's a 4 o'clock close today. Sandra Smith.
Here.
We'll check in with you after the open, but right now it is time for round 3. Big stories of 08. Robert Gray, what do you got for us? What are you watching?
Let's say the big story of 07 rolling into 08. We're talking about housing and its effect on the economy. Everyone's been looking for the bottom to the housing market's slide for the past year and change. Haven't found it yet. If you take a look at, say, the Philadelphia Housing Sector Index, if you're looking at stocks, it's only at the lowest in about 4 years, where we've got housing in a recession, the worst recession since the early 90s, waiting for those existing home sales to come out, expected to stay near record low levels. So it looks like the bottom not here yet. We're hearing, people talking about no recovery until 09. I think someone was on our air the other day saying not until 2010. So I think that's going to be the predominant thesis next year. How does the housing, how does it rebound, and does it spiral to become worse? And do we see some of the layoffs that people have been looking for coming from this? So far, we've seen the jobs market hanging in there. So that could be the sub-theme, if you will. All
right, we'll look into that now. Aaron, I want to get you to weigh in on this as well. Housing, obviously, this is a huge story because you know, not only when it will turn around, but if it will at all in 08, or as Robert says, are we waiting to 09? What's your take?
Well, I think we'll be lucky if we can just bounce along the bottom here and not continue to go lower. I mean, when people talk about a bottom in housing, I think they think of a stock where it has a V-shaped bottom. We're not going to get that. There's no way that's going to happen. The best scenario would be if housing prices just stabilize and we start to eat into some of that inventory, which is extremely high, especially on the new homes front.
Most important number to watch there is what? The prices? As
the inventory to sales ratio, I think, is the most important, because right now I think it's 9 months of new home sales are still on the market, and demand is falling. That's a really bad combination.
That is kind of important, Ray. And I think you were talking about this last week, right, in terms of how many months some of these homes are staying on the market, and whether or not we see that kind of trend start to reverse itself.
Right, and I think you will. But you know what? Even if there's good news in housing, don't forget, we're not going to hear about it coming next year, because this is an election year. And I think this is going to become a very big election year issue. And I think that even if it stabilizes, it's not going to feel like it's stabilized sentiment-wise, simply because you're going to have the candidates out on the campaign trail using this and the rest of the broader economy, as Robert mentioned, as as an excuse for a lot of the, as a way to get votes for a lot of people. So I think what you have to do in 08, when you think about things like housing and its effect on recession, and these words get thrown around, is look beyond the political rhetoric to kind of figure out where the numbers are pointing.
All right, now here's where I get to have a little bit of fun, and we do a round 4, an unplanned round. Alexis does this all the time. We have no idea what she's going to say, and I'm doing it to you guys today. High and low for the Dow Jones Industrial Average in 08. What do you think the high will be? Aaron, what do you think the low will be?
I think the high will be 14,500 and the low 12,800.
All right, it's 14,500, 12.8. Dr. Hennessey, what do you say?
I like the 12.8 on the under. I would actually go. I think we're going to hit 15 on the Dow this year, because I think it's going to be, the market's going to perform much better than people are expected.
Robert Gray, all right, fine. We're holding Robert Gray to 30 seconds. What do you got?
Well, I was looking at 12.8 on my under as well. I'm not quite as optimistic as Ray, but I'm looking at let's call it 14.4.
All right, and Hennessey's the high man there at 15, so like the price is right. If he goes over, we'll hold him to it. All right, a few minutes away from the market open, we have the live coverage for you coming up next on the opening bell, so don't go away.
Get big arms, a ripped chest, and cut abs with the Perfect Push-Up. The Perfect Push-Up works with the natural rotation of your arms and shoulders to maximize results and minimize stress on your body. With the Perfect Push-Up, your hands, arms, and shoulders rotate 90 degrees, just like in a punch. All the energy of the push-up is captured and transmitted right where you want it, to the muscles. There's no wasted effort, just muscle-building movement. And as your arms rotate, you feel it work in your biceps, your triceps, your chest and abs, and your shoulders. Invented by a U.S. Navy SEAL and made with steel and a ball-bearing movement, it's the push-up perfected. So here's the deal. The Perfect Push-Up is only 2 payments of $19.95. When you order, you'll receive 2 Perfect Push-Up rotational handles, and you'll also receive the Navy SEAL-inspired Perfect Push-Up workout chart. You'll be ripped in no time. Get big fast. Call right now for the Perfect Push-Up.
Call 1-800-292-3311.
Did you know you can start your own business for less than $25? It's a proven system that has worked for people for over 50 years.
This past year, I did $250,000 in sales.
SMC has a huge warehouse with thousands of fast-selling products. As a member, you can order any item at rock-bottom prices and sell for profit at up to 300%. No sales experience needed, and you can start part-time or full-time. Start towards a better future today. Call now to get free information.
New Year's Eve. Who's on tap making the biggest business deals? Which companies are on tap making moves in the market? Cody and Rebecca serve up the best of the day. Pull up a stool. It's time for Fox Business Happy Hour.
We are back here on the opening bell as we get set to ring the opening bell here on the final trading day of 2007. And down at the big board today is Gene Saunders, CEO of Project Lifesaver International, ringing the opening bell down there at the corner of Broad and Wall. And at the NASDAQ, where they're whooping it up, the chairman and CEO of Esmark Incorporated is presiding over the opening bell, or the opening button as the case may be there, commemorating their visit to New York City and the firm's listing on the New York Stock Exchange. Here we go, last trading day of the year. All right, the markets are open. Let's see how things are looking in the very early going. Sandra Smith down on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Hi again, Sandra.
Hey there, Connell. Well, things are already off to, it's more busy down here than you'd think right off the opening bell. We are heading lower already, 30 points, 34 points lower in the Dow, selling off. We'll see if that selling continues as I talk here. A few companies that are in focus this morning. One of them is a Bank of New York Mellon. This is the world's biggest asset custodian. Saying that it's undervalued compared with its peers and may rise more than 15% because of the bank's management. Now, that's according to a Barron's article over the weekend. Today, you're going to want to keep your eye on Bank of New York stock today. Another one that we're watching is Lowe's Corporation. The holding company run by New York's Tisch family may rise 20% after it spins off of Lorillard, the oldest U.S. cigarette maker, into a separate public company. That's another stock that you're going to want to keep your eye on to the upside today. Lastly, we've heard a lot about it already. Baidu.com, the owner of China's most popular search engine, said yesterday that its chief financial officer died in an accident in China during the Christmas holiday season. Connell, as I've been talking, the Dow has been slipping a little bit lower, now lower by about 44, 45 points on the day. We were expected to see about a flat open, but it looks like the selling's a little bit picking up a little bit here. We're going to keep a close eye on this for you down here. As you know, 29 minutes from now, we're going to get that existing home sales number out. We will get the reaction from you here down on the New York Stock Exchange. Back over to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Sandra. Let's head back to Chicago now. We check in with Jessica Hoversen at MF Global, who was with us earlier. Give us one thing to watch for, Jessica, here in this this light session, if you will, on the holiday.
I think due to the light trading session, we're going to focus on the existing home sales data. It's no shock that the housing market has been deteriorating greatly, but it will be shocking to see an uptick in the data. And if we do see something like that, the markets will react strongly. All
right, we'll be all over that at the top of the hour. And again, thanks, Jessica, and Happy New Year to you. We appreciate all the time today. All right, 7 early movers now. Fox Business contributor Charles Payne is flying solo this morning. Liz is off. Good morning, Charles. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good morning.
Oh, my God. What are you wearing? I thought that the hat was one thing in Times Square. I was going to say I would have borrowed that hat you were wearing earlier, but this has taken it to a whole new level.
I'm going to leave these over here for you. You're going to need them later on tonight. Anyway, we've got 7 early movers. We've got Delta Petroleum. Now, Kirk Kerkorian on Friday took a 35% stake at a 23% premium above Friday's closing price. That's going to obviously send that stock higher, might help the entire group. Merrill Lynch, there's a report out of the UK in the Observer that they may actually have to sell, or that they're in talks to sell another huge stake. We're talking maybe 6 or 7 billion to another one of these wealth sovereign funds. That's not going to go over well with a lot of people here in America and politicians. Wachovia, they're the 4th largest bank in the United States. They really have, navigated pretty well through this entire subprime mess, if you will. But there's a report out this morning that they're going to have to probably write off $1.5 billion. And sticking with this financial theme, we have to talk about Citigroup. Of course, there's still talk about these guys cutting their dividend, perhaps cutting it as much as 50%. But also, from a technical aspect, if this stock gets under 29, I think it could trigger a whole lot of selling today. So you really have to be careful with that. McAfee, which is a security software company, you don't hear a lot about these threats anymore, but 2007 saw record intrusions. These guys saw their stock reiterated a buy at Jefferies. Also, Jefferies took the target up. And I have to tell you that the estimates for next year on this stock continue to edge higher. So this one probably will buck the morning trend. Pfizer sold some assets to Johnson & Johnson, and it also completed an acquisition itself. At the open, it looked like it wanted to trade higher. And finally, Baidu, B-I-D-U. This is they call it the Chinese Google, although Google is a rival there. These guys have been knocking the cover off the ball in terms of search in China, and the CEO said they only have penetrated 1% of the business. However, over the weekend, the CFO was in an accident. He passed away. He was very instrumental in getting this company listed on NASDAQ. That stock will open under a lot of pressure. It's going to be interesting to see if folks go in there and buy this one a weakness, because if you've done that over the last 2 years, you've made a lot of money.
Charles, my friend, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And that's a whole new meaning to seeing the market through rose-colored glasses, I think.
There you
Thanks
go.
a lot.
Okay.
Happy New Year.
You
Charles
too.
Payne, the one and only. All right, round 5 now. Aaron Task with his story to watch in 2008. What do you have for us?
Well, alternative energy. I mean, it became a big story in 2007. You have companies like GE and Walmart making moves in that direction. And I think consumers are driving this. Consumers are telling corporate world that they want cleaner products. And I think it's really going to become a much bigger mass market phenomenon in 2008. And people are going to realize higher oil prices are here to stay, and we have to find alternatives. And there was a story in Barron's this week about a company like Metabolic that does, plastics that degrade quicker than what we were used to. And I think those are the kind of companies and kind of stocks that are going to lead next year.
That's a good one. Now, Ray, as we turn to you, it's kind of like people can talk all they want about this, but when companies can make money, when they see an opportunity, that's when it's a real, it's really something that's going to take hold, right?
What's always struck me is that there hasn't been this big boom in alternative energy over the past 5-6 years like we saw with the internet boom maybe 7-8 years ago. And I always thought that that was going to happen. I always thought, once we were done going through the internet stocks, that this would be the next area. But, the venture capital money in this area is small compared with broader technology. So these new developing companies haven't come. Unfortunately, if you want to play alternative energy, you have to play a company like GE. You have to play the big guys, and their exposure to it is so much smaller. So as a stock play, it hasn't been as big and broad. Sure, there's 1 or 2 little companies here and there, but you haven't really been able to put together a very strong basket of stocks. Whether or not that happens in 08 is an open question, but it first has to happen when the venture capitalists back these companies and when the IPO market accepts them, so you have some very viable mid-cap, small-cap companies out there that maybe you can make a buck off of.
Is this a tough area, Robert, to play because, as Ray says, it's such a small part of big companies' businesses?
It is, and you can really look at some charts. Look at a Pacific Ethanol. Remember Bill Gates buying into that, a year or 2 ago, and really took off. And you've seen some of these stocks, sort of double, and then they come back in, but they don't seem to have a lot of sustainability to these gains. And I think that's why Ray's talking about looking at the bigger companies. You can also play on it, like a Monsanto, on the other side to help, the agribusinesses to grow more corn and healthier corn that withstands. And you can look at, there are a few ETFs out there. One of the, an interesting ticker is MOO, M-O-O, for the market vectors agribusiness. But really, it is difficult to look at these little ethanol plays here, like Pacific Ethanol, just because, like I said, you see investors flock into these names, and the earnings come out and they disappoint, and then you still have the problems of ethanol being so expensive to produce. It really can be hurt the bottom line for some of these smaller companies until someone can find out a way to do it more efficiently and cost effectively.
All right, let's give Aaron the last word on this, since it was your top.
2 things real quick. PBG is a clean energy ETF that's done pretty well for people. And the other thing is that Google is making a push into alternative energy, and I think that is going to drive a lot of the VC money in the Valley to say, if they're the smartest guys in the room, if they're doing it, we got to get on board too.
Their plan for world domination, which is coming along pretty well so far.
But everyone's going to be better off for it.
Hopefully. We're here no matter what, right? All right, here we are, almost 8 minutes into the trading day. So how the markets are moving and a look at the news of the day is up next on the Opening Bell. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Chuck Norris. The folks at Total Gym have asked me to take 60 seconds to tell you why I use the Total Gym. Well, I use it because it works. Well, that wasn't 60 seconds.
This is what's great about the Total Gym. Works on all the muscles. You name it. Chest, arms, tries, buys, shoulders. And at the same time, it's working the gut. And also, you can fluctuate your workout. You can isolate the arms. You can elevate the machine to use whatever percentage of your body weight. I can take it around with me on all my locations. Great workout. Great exercise.
Now, for the first time ever, you can try a Total Gym absolutely risk-free for an entire 2 months. You won't even be charged for shipping and handling. But believe me, it won't take 2 months. You'll be hooked on it the first time you try it.
Call 1-800-619-2140. That's 1-800-619-2140. Global warming is a problem.
It's a problem.
I wanted to do something to become more energy efficient.
To protect the environment.
To protect the future.
So I turned to Energy Star for help.
Energy Star is helping me be part of the solution.
Everyone can join the fight against global warming. Go to EnergyStar.gov to learn what you can do.
Together,
we can all make a difference.
Hi, I'm Mike Messina. In baseball, we're all trying to be winners, but we can't succeed unless we have the right skills. Knowing how to make the right choices in difficult situations. In my job, it's all about being a team. In my family, we're also a team, and we try to make sure our kids make the right choices. If you feel like you need help when you don't have all the answers, call the Girls and Boys Town National Hotline, 1-800-448-3000. They'll definitely help you put together a winning team.
New Year's Day. Hungry for investors. Fast food giants cook up new plans for 08. Who's leading the competition and how you could cash in. We take a look at the billion-dollar industry. Don't miss an all-new special on Money for Breakfast.
All right, we're back here on the opening bell. The market opening a little bit lower here in the final trading session of the day. Taking a look at some of the movers behind me. Citigroup hitting a 52-week low today, under 30 bucks. That's a stock that's down 40+% year to date. Speaking of 52-week lows, Southwest Airlines hitting a 52-week low as well this morning. And of course, the price of oil just continues to be a huge story. We have a year-to-date chart of oil up in the background as well. And it's been a big, big year for oil as we nearly got to 100 bucks a barrel there at one point. All right, today we're looking ahead, as we have been throughout the program, to 2008. So let's see the future of business through the eyes of an enterprising future business leader. 18-year-old Paulie Harraka is the winner of the New Jersey Future Business Leaders of America State Championship, and he joins me now. Paulie, thank you very much for coming on. We appreciate it. All right, tell us about this award, first of all, and how you won it.
Started out the Future Business Leaders of America as a national organization for high school students, and I was taking a marketing class. I wasn't involved in the club. I had done some activities with it, but I had never officially joined. My marketing teacher was also the advisor for the club, and she said, hey, there's an upcoming Northern New Jersey regional competition.
Right.
How'd you like to join and just take a test? I said, yeah, sounds good.
And you won.
I'd love to. And ended up winning regionals and going to states and winning states.
And you're a big NASCAR guy, which is one of the reasons we're having you on today, and that kind of played into it as well. I mean, tell us about the NASCAR link with all this.
It's correct, and I am a member of the Drive for Diversity program, driving in NASCAR's Whelen All-American Series, and I was lucky enough to be able to do both. I think I've learned a lot of things on the business end of NASCAR that have helped me a lot in school and other things.
All right, let's talk about that a little bit more, because as I say, that's one of the reasons we wanted to talk to you today, as we're looking ahead to 2008 and what the next big thing is going to be, so to speak. I mean, there's new technology, right, coming on board in NASCAR, or maybe already there. I mean, take us through that a little bit and why you think it's going to be so big.
In NASCAR, you constantly see things, and especially from the European motorsports markets, as things get smaller and smaller and smaller, and you see it everywhere. You see it with people's phones, adding GPS systems, adding a multitude of things to phones and to any kind of electronic device. So as that goes, it trickles towards the stock car market, it trickles towards automobiles, where we can get more and more electronic advantages without having any other sacrifices.
And what's this? There's a handheld device, right, that NASCAR is using, with the fans and the stands have a chance to kind of follow along with the races. I mean, how does that thing work?
That's correct. It's a small handheld device. It's almost like a small television with a little remote control and everything, and fans that are at the races can not only watch the race broadcast on a little TV screen, they can also plug in headphones and listen to the driver-to-crew radio communications of any driver they want to, as well as NASCAR race control. They can listen to the race radio broadcast, and there's a lot of different things.
We were just looking at a shot of it on the screen there a moment ago, and do you think, I mean, is this something that could be applied maybe to other sports and other events that people are kind of wanting to interact with? It sounds like it could be a kind of a big item if it catches on.
Without a doubt. I mean, it's something that with NASCAR you can only see so much, and there's so much that goes on behind the scenes. As